always forget. Can you talk? Okay. Hello, and welcome back to Novelty with S&B, the book club with a podcast. I'm your co-host, Beck.
And I'm Stephanie.
So side note, real quick, this will probably be our last episode of the year. We're going to take a quick hiatus pause until the first of the year, just to, enjoy family, friends, holidays. And then I think we're going to try and make a good push on our TikTok. So if you're not already part of our TikTok, go and look at us, follow whatever it's called. That way you're still with us, but we're going to pause the live stream until further notice.
Yeah. So we might hop on TikTok live a couple times between now and then.
Especially
we just won't
since
be doing this part. But we will be back.
We will be back. Yes, of course. Especially since it's kind of, we're putting the November's book of the month on hold. So we don't want to leave you guys hanging, obviously. But let's start. What are you drinking tea today?
I am. I'm drinking iced tea. So those like botanicals cold water infusion teas, which I have a bunch of them because they're so good. And it's strawberry lemon orange blossom. And
that's
it's
not
really
very
good.
November of you.
Well, it's in the 70s here, so
God, isn't it terrible?
I mean, there's been some days where it's been nice and cool and like overcast, but today's not one of those days. So it's supposed to be like 73 on Thanksgiving. So but yeah, we've had some cold days, some cold nights. It's really cold morning, like in the 30s. And it's so weird here because the temperature like difference, like if you look at our weather forecast, like night and day is so like it'll be 39, 40 in the morning, right? Our low, and then our high will be like in the 70s. It's such of a huge like range. Yeah, it's insane. What are you drinking though? Are you drinking in November?
Yes,
November
of course.
Boy? Of course.
I went to the Huntington Library in Pasadena.
Oh yeah.
And they had this cute little, like they actually do afternoon tea there too, but it was like $62. I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking do that. I also funny story. I was walking around like the art museum and I was like trying to point out to my husband, like, oh, it's really cool that like they made the light look different here. And like, you can tell that this is metal and this is like ribbon and satin or whatever. And I was pointing to it. And this lady, she's like, you need to be at least 12 inches away from the painting. I'm like,
oh my God.
Okay, cool. I'm done here. So I went to the gift shop and I got Holiday Blend Spiced Black Tea. It's black tea leaves, orange peel, cinnamon chips, and flavoring, whatever that means. It's pretty good.
That does sound good. That sounds good.
I know. And it's got this cute little like packaging. Very fun.
Speaking of like holiday, have you ever like you do simmer pots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever mixed it with like, well, I know you've done it with wine, right? To make mulled wine.
Oh yeah, I make what is it called? Oh, whatever it's called.
Blue wine.
Yeah.
Have you ever done it with like apple cider?
Yeah. So
is it good?
I've
never tried it.
When I do my glühwein, I put like a spiced red wine, apple cider, a little bit of orange juice. Sometimes back when I was able to drink, I would put like spiced rum in there too. And then all the mulling spices, so like your cinnamon, cloves, and
I wonder if you just
so good.
like alcohol free though, like just straight apple cider.
Probably.
I think it'd be so good. And then you just strain it, right? Like you don't really strain it.
You don't have to. You just like cup it out of the.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try that this year because I've never done it. Like we'll make apple cider often, because Adam loves it, and I'll just do it like in a crock pot, right? And like throw some cinnamon in there, cinnamon sticks. But I want to try to do the simmer pot because I know it makes the house smell like amazing.
It does, yes.
So, yeah, I'm gonna have to give that a try. Anyway,
you should.
Yeah, I want to.
I love apple cider too.
Yeah, it's so good. I love all the holiday things.
I know. I'm so excited that it's like the holiday season.
I am too. This is my favorite. I get seasonal depression in the summer.
Me too.
But yeah.
But everybody's like so much nicer during winter holidays.
Yeah, it does seem like that. Not everyone's as stressed out. It's kind of a time to, I don't know, just share with family more. Family. I don't know. Yeah. It's better. It's better. It's not so damn hot. No. So I'm gonna start off today with Wayward by Amelia Hart. So fantasy, 392 pages. The fantasy is like light. It's like light fantasy. There is a little bit of magic, but not a lot. 392 pages, and I finished it on November 11th, and I listened to it and read it, and it's on Kindle Unlimited. So for the plot summary, I'm not going to go over it because in our last episode during our 10 before the end segment, like I went over it all. And then, so in short, it's like three women from different times. They're all woven together in three different harrowing tales. So my evaluation is a bit long. I'm going to kind of go into all their stories, like a little bit of interesting things about their stories, because you get like 3 books in one almost, because it's 3 different women from 3 different times. So I'll talk a little bit about each of them because it was a very interesting book. So the year is 1619, and that's when we meet Altha. So she's a woman on trial for being a witch. And her story was very interesting because, you know, everything was so different in those times. And if you were not like everyone else, not married, she has like a connection with nature. She made medicines and tinctures and whatnot with her, you know, herbs, and she was like feared, right? Because
obviously, yeah,
because of those things, which is so silly, but it is that's how it was. And so as soon as something like in your village or what have you, like goes wrong, that, or it can't quite be explained, like they're going to blame the weird girl. That's how it was, you know, because she's clearly a witch. So
obviously,
like, yeah, so let's hang her, you know. So they do this trial because they're assuming she casted a spell or something, and she didn't cast a spell, but the question is more of, did she will something to happen, or is it just a big like misunderstanding? So you go through her story, which is very interesting, and then you also, and they're all, the POVs are all, you go from woman to woman to woman. So it's like you'll read a chapter about one, a chapter about the other, and then it'll go back, but it's not confusing. It's kind of hard to explain.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not like one woman at a time. They're all 3. But it does that for a reason. So you can kind of see things that are forming together, whatever. In 1942, you meet Violet. So I think most people who read this book may have a character that they just connected with the most, and mine was Violet. She was the one I don't know, for some reason, like I had I cared more. I don't want to say I cared more about her, but I had, I don't know, I
was vested interest in her. Yeah,
absolutely. Don't know why, because it's not like we have anything in common. But I just had a connection with her. So she's like a naive girl, young, sheltered from the world, and her father doesn't love her. The father has lots of issues with her mother, who has passed. She doesn't know much about her mother, and then she has a brother who loves her, but he feels helpless, and sometimes he just turns a blind eye to what's going on.
Sure.
Yeah. So Violet knows nothing about womanhood at all. Like, her mom passed. Her father refuses to talk to Violet about her. So everyone seems to think she's like wicked, right? When she's brought up, it's like, no, she will not be spoken about in this house, blah, blah, blah. So unfortunately, she just doesn't know much about her mom, and everything changes for her. Her cousin comes back from war for like a quick visit. He's not there long. He has to go back to the war, but he's not a good person. She ends up learning too much too quickly about becoming a woman and about sexuality and attraction, and being a very naive girl. It's terrible to read what happened to her. So to top it off, she ends up being outcasted for something that's not her fault. And
I'm starting to see a pattern here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Then you meet Kate. So Kate is present. Oh, the year's 2019, right? Okay. She is pregnant, and she has to flee her abusive relationship to take refuge in the Wayward cottage. So she inherited that cottage from her great aunt, who she's only met a few times when she was very young, so she doesn't quite remember her. This is where like all the stories, when she gets there and she starts kind of looking for things, that's where everything kind of starts coming together and all the stories start to connect. And then you're like, oh, and you kind of see where it's going. So that's a lot. Sorry, but
No,
it
you're
was
good.
very good. And I saw reviews saying like it's nothing but a man hating book and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, like, sure, but it's not like the acts committed in the book are historically and
Inaccurate.
contemporarily inaccurate. No, like
Yeah.
that happened. It still happens. Like, not witches, but you know, the other things the other women are going through.
I mean,
And
never mind.
yeah, well, yeah, to an extent.
Right.
So the truth sucks sometimes. So I mean, it's one thing if it was inaccurate, but it's not. Like that
Yeah, like they were just
happened.
yeah.
Yeah. So, however, like I do realize not all men are terrible creatures. Not all, most, no. So I did knock it down from a solid 4, like a really good 4, to a 3.5 because one event that is pretty significant in the book. I thought the man hating was a bit much. I was like, okay,
just went a little too far. Yeah,
I didn't like one thing that happened. I did not like that, but overall, the story is great. The writing is amazing, and I loved how the book went between the 3 POVs and wasn't confusing because it seems like, because when I read the first chapter and I saw the second chapter with somebody else, I'm like, oh no, it's going to do this, but it's not confusing at all.
Oh, good.
And
yeah,
and the way she writes, that it helps them all weave together. Because I think if you read about one of them first and then middle and then last, you may forget about little things that you definitely catch when you're, doing reading it the way she wrote it. I don't know how to explain, but it's good.
I get it. Yeah.
So recommendation, yes, I think the writing is beautiful. The stories are tragic, but compelling and interesting all at the same time. I think it is a book I'll always think about from time to time.
Yeah, sure.
I would like to find more books, fiction, because I know there's plenty of nonfiction you can read about witches, but I would really love to read some like witch trial fiction books. I think that'd be really interesting. After just reading like about this one character in this book, it got me like really interested. All the things that happened to her and just how things were then is just wild. So
yeah, it's weird that like how satanic panic keeps coming up in our history.
Yeah. It does often, and it still does. So
still does. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do want to I would like to find more books about that. I think it was very interesting, but I do recommend the book. There's just that one part, and it's just one part. The book overall is great. Did not ruin the story. It's just I was like, okay, that's a little much, in my opinion.
Too far. Bring it back.
A little bit, but it is a good book. Yes, it's not putting man in a good light. So if you don't want to read that, then don't. But I think it was a really good book overall. So
good.
Yeah. So what are you gonna talk about?
My first book that I read in the last 2 weeks, it was The Foxglove King by Hannah Witten. It is romantasy, is 480 pages. I did buy it like last year, so I'm just trying to get through some of the books that I bought before I buy new ones. And we'll get into that later because we're going through our TBRs. But I also got the audiobook through Libby, the Libby app. I do think it is on Kindle Unlimited. The second one at least is, because I downloaded it and then I realized that, well, I'll get to it. So I also went through it the last time we were here. I went through the whole synopsis, but basically it's about this girl. Her name is Lore. She escaped this cult that was in the catacombs of this, I don't know, knockoff Rifthold. Basically, okay, it's called The Lair. And then, since then, she's kind of been a poison runner, which is kind of like their drugs in this world. What else to say? So she gets kind of caught doing her mortem, which is her magic that is born from death. So she's kind of a necromancer in a sense, that she can bring things back from life. She gets caught doing this because she's trying to save her friend, and then she gets taken to the king to be a spy for her, or for his son, the prince. So there's kind of like this love triangle between the prince, the Prescott Mort. He's like part of like this religious affiliation that's part of the the hierarchy.
Mhm.
And it really did remind me of like the prince was Dorian and the Mort was Kale, and I was like, well,
Oh.
this is interesting.
It was a little too.
It was a little too, yeah, copy and
Yeah.
paste for my liking, but I think,
Yeah.
I think that's just going to happen once you start reading fantasy as much as we have, is that you're going to get a lot of the same
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah.
And I think I have hit that wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did really like her other books. It's For the Wolf and For the Crown. It was more based on like sisterhood instead of like a love triangle. I can see where she was
Mhm.
trying to go with this, like get more into, because let's be honest, romantasy itself is a huge genre. Like
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
loves it. So
Big
yeah,
yeah.
of course you're gonna get more into it. But yeah, and again, the whole like I'm small and curvy, so
Oh, yeah.
like I don't know.
Always.
Yeah, it was overdone and dry. Um, and then the obvious Kale and Dorian knockoffs was a few eye
Yeah.
rolls in itself. I mean, go ahead and like read it for sure,
Mhm.
but it's not my top 10 recommendations and never will be. There is like one spicy scene. I wouldn't even call it very spicy. Nothing really happens. Like there's just like the
Tension.
intention. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. How many so it's a series or is
Yes.
it a duology? How
So
many books are in the
there's
series?
going to be three. There's currently
Okay.
two that are out. The third one, I believe, comes out like in early 2025. Um, it's well written. Like there's a lot of prose, and like you get the brain movie, or at least you
Mhm.
would. It's just I'm to the point where I have such a long TBR, which we're also going to get to, that like
Yeah.
things like this just aren't worth my time. And I don't mean to say that in like a
No,
pretentious
I
way
don't
by any
no.
means, but
You have other things you'd rather read, that's
yes.
fine.
Especially
Um,
after The Secret History, and I'm like, oh, this is what I started reading for. And now I'm like, wait, there's a time and place for this. Like I obviously want to feel like uh kicky feety, and I want to get the fuzzies, and I want to,
yeah, yeah.
have cute, but like I don't know.
But you but
The
are you gonna read
slow
the second one?
descent. I'll probably wait for a while. I'll get it through a lot of my TBR first. I
Yeah.
think
Oh,
Sword
you
Heart.
downloaded it though?
Yeah, of
Okay.
course. It's like because
Yeah.
like I'm gonna forget about it. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. Yep. No, that's I mean, there's so much I
Especially
wanna read too, so I get where you're coming from.
when we get to the next book that we read together,
Mm.
is where I'm like, God damn it. I could have just been reading this instead,
Yeah, right? Yep.
which
So
is Assassin's Creed. Go ahead.
yeah, but I'm gonna talk about my extreme horror
Mm,
reads first.
you're right.
'Cause I
You're
read
right.
2 of them, and they were short, so I'm just combining them because yeah. So Boys Will Be Boys by Rain Havoc and 100% Match by Patrick C. Harrison.
See, I was just trying to
So
get through this. I was just trying to make you forget that this was a thing.
they're yeah, that's fun. They're extreme horror, splatterpunk. They're like on the cusp. They're not that bad. Well, they're bad, but they're not. I've read worse. I've read way worse. So these are tame compared to some of the crap that I've read that are considered splatterpunk. So I would put this like, yeah, tippity top extreme horror, lower splatterpunk. Anyways, I read them both between like November 4th and November 7th. So
Because they're really
Boys Will Be
short, right?
yeah, Boys Will Be Boys was 121 pages and 100% Match was 96. So yeah,
Yeah.
they're really
Yeah.
really
There it
short.
is.
They're both on KU. I read them. I did not listen to them. I need to listen to one day of Splatterpunk. That's probably interesting. Anyways, the plot summaries, like I said, these were both on my 10 before the end, so or 10 till the whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear the plot summaries, go to
The
our
last
last
one.
episode and then listen to that segment. So yeah. Um both books, sorry, were disturbing. Like obviously. Boys Will Be Boys wasn't very good. I the dialogue was really cheesy. Like
Mm,
the guy between the boys, right? It was like I've been around. Well, I've never been
men.
around
Yeah.
these kind of men. Or they're
Let's
young.
hope not.
But no, I've been around the young guys though. Like I was in the military, so and I know how they talk to each other because sometimes like you're the only female, you just hear it. And this, even though these guys are clearly like not right, it just I don't know, not realistic. Like and it's like I don't like saying that because it's like you don't really want the book to be realistic too, but that's what if that's what you're going for, which it seemed like that's what the author was going for, like you got that way off. And it was I would have taken it more seriously from the beginning had the dialogue been better between the boys.
Right.
That makes I can't really, it's hard to explain, but there is of course a twist you see coming. Now the way the twist was written was pretty realistic. It's like skip ahead 20 seconds if you don't want a spoiler. But spoiler 3, 2, 1, parents will do anything for their kids to the point of nauseum. So that plays, it's not a huge spoiler, but that plays a role in it. And you see it coming. I mean, it's not a big surprise by any means, but I guess it got its point across in the quick 121 pages. It's just a dialogue with the boys is what annoyed me. Anyways, I wasn't a fan. I liked 100% match.
No,
I did. So I know you slowly find out about this man and his odd ways. So he literally like so he's ugly. He's a not attractive man. He's bald and overweight.
So he looks like the cover.
Yeah. Go look at the cover.
They're looking at it. I have it up.
Nasty. Oh yeah. There it is. He's just not it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he is trying to find his match, you know. And anyways, he studies women. Like he just spouts off these random statistics throughout the book, which I think is so funny. And then he'll like randomly admit something like really fucked up he has done or someone he's killed. And it's just very random. Like, oh, fun fact, by the way, like I'll give you a quote to like, so you can see what I mean. So quote, before heading to bed, I shoot the kid I have chained up in the basement. 76% of women can be convinced that the sound of a gunshot was actually a car backfiring. End quote.
Cool.
Mind you, there's no mention of anyone being in any basement prior or after the statement. So these little like
just
bits come up and you're like, this guy's, I mean, obviously, you know, he's a psychopath, but you just read this and you're like, what the hell? It's not funny, but you're just like, what? Like, it's just kind of random, but it's done. And I don't know, it was so weird. So, anyways, there's also a twist in this one. You see it coming, you know what it's going to be, but, in the end, he does in fact find his 100% match.
Oh, cool. I'm so happy for him.
I'm so glad.
No, I feel like I have learned enough about it in the last couple of days that I'm good.
Boy, I know I sent you a couple of things from it. Anyway, so yeah, boys will be boys. I would say for recommendation, no, I don't think it's worth your time. It's on KU, so I mean, if you want to, but lots of triggers. It's all sexual assault and trauma, like not worth anyone's time in my opinion. I would say 100% match is a yes if you like extreme horror. There is lots of gore, not overly gory like some I've read, but for a beginner, it's probably quite a bit. It also might scare you away from restaurants for a while. So he is a fry cook, and he likes to save things in his Ziploc baggie in his pocket. Who mix into people's like the meat. He makes burgers and chili. And he mixes things into the meat, and then he even eats it himself, which is just.
I mean, grotesque. What chef doesn't eat his own food? You know.
Yeah, but it was entertaining. I mean, it really was. I was entertained the whole time. Gotcha. I don't know if that makes me a bad person, but I liked it. It was just like weird, man. It was good though. I didn't mind it. You know, I'm not gonna go buy it and put it on my shelf, but wasn't a bad read.
It's not. Yeah, it's no trophy.
Okay. So let's get on to something a little more. You know.
I can't believe you're making me talk about the best book this week after that bullshit.
Save the best for last.
Yeah.
So, Assassin's Blade
by Sarah J. Maas. Well, I would say it leans more fantasy than...
Fantasy.
Yeah.
There's little romance, but it's not romance forward or even I don't even think it's enough to say romantasy. I mean, yeah, there's a love
No.
interest like anything else, but yeah, more fantasy than anything. And
Go ahead.
sorry, no, go ahead.
It's 451 pages, but that's split up into five different novellas. I bought and also got the audiobook. I see that you also did that.
I sure did. Yeah, I have that. Well, I bought that pack, and it's all the books in one.
Yeah.
The only thing that's annoying about that, it's cheaper to do it like that, but I have to skip around because they had Assassin's Blade last.
Yeah.
And so it's not like
I probably already had it then.
The books are not like listed to where you can like click on a book and then it takes you. You had to like find it. It was a pain in the ass. Maybe there is a way and I'm just stupid. That could very well be it. But yeah,
but they should make it available for stupid people.
Well, just make it go. Thanks. No, they should just make
No, I'm including myself in that.
But even if it was like in order in chronological order, Assassin's Blade would have been first. And I'm going to say something now, unpopular opinion for reasons unknown. Most people say you should read this first. A lot of people start off with this. I even got a comment when I was starting Throne of Glass, like, oh, you should read Assassin's Blade first when I posted that little TikTok about it. But I am so happy I didn't. I say, do not read this first. I read it as like the fourth book. You read it after you read the completed series. And
so because for the folks that are listening, the Assassin's Blade is the prequel to Throne of Glass. It is books 0.1 through 0.5. It tells Selena's story before she gets sent to the salt mines. So you get to see the Pirate Lord, the Healer, Desert, Underworld, and Empire. You get to learn the things about Selena that she slowly starts to like indicate into the actual Throne of Glass books, but you don't get the full story. So
there's a lot of events leading up to it.
That's why people say you should read it first. However, I am in the same boat as you. I do not agree with that. I think where you read it was probably perfect. Where I read it was also fine.
Yeah. So for me, like the Asterian horse, for instance, that is brought up in the second book, maybe, I think
1 or 2. Yeah.
Yeah. One of those. And I'm reading Assassin's Blade and the whole story of her getting that horse, stealing, comes up. And it was just so fun to read about because I'm like, oh, she talked about this. Like, so that was fun. And then the main thing, though, there was little fun trinkets like that throughout. But
yes,
one thing in particular, it wouldn't have given me such an emotional response had I read this first. So it wouldn't have meant as much. So
no.
She would have said those particular words and I would have been like, oh yeah, that's what, blah,
that's
blah, blah.
what she said.
I don't want to give it away. Yeah. But reading this book now, I mean,
it's our TikTok. We made a TikTok video. I mean, you might as well just say it.
I crumbled. Yeah. I am Sam Cortland. I will not be afraid. Fuck. When I read that, I crumbled, hand over mouth, tears. Damn it. My hand went over my mouth.
I was in the car about to get gas, and I had to pause before I got gas and think about my life choices. Especially since gas is expensive.
It wouldn't. Yeah, right. Just a double whammy. Yeah. No, but like I would not have had. It wouldn't have meant as much. It meant so much reading it, and the story of Sam was, god damn it, so tragic, and like because I know her and I know I've heard about him, it just made it so much more. It meant so much more. I'm gonna start crying
again. Oh my god!
It just reading that book first is a big no in my opinion. Yeah.
Well,
absolutely not.
I think I was talking about this too earlier too. I saw a Reddit post of how like somebody could not stand Selena because she was like a brat and she was high standards and all this, and they just couldn't get into it because blah 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 of how she is, and like it's best to read this after you get like the backstory of how Selena is actually Selena. You know, she's actually like underneath all of that bullshit, she's a caring and like always does the right thing, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And of course, when you're reading Assassin's Blade, she's young and she's spoiled and she's a badass. So of course she has the kind of attitude, especially like you were saying, like the family she was like who she was raised by. Like,
right.
Of course she's that kind of way. But since I read the other books prior to this, I didn't see it as like, I just thought it was kind of funny. Like she was a little cocky thing. Like,
yeah, right. Yeah.
I didn't read it as like, oh God. And I can see if you started with Assassin's Blade, I could definitely see how you would get that feel for her. Mm-hmm. But after reading the other books first, I didn't get that. I just thought it was kind of funny. Like, oh my God, she was something like, you know, like
little sass. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just kind of more funny than like annoying. Right. Because I know how she is now and I can appreciate that. And I can understand also why she was that way. And you also you notice, I feel like you would notice this even if you read it first, but like the growth in her character, big time.
Yes.
Like what I'm reading, you know, what I've read in Throne of Glass, and the other two, and then this one, it's like, wow, she's, you know, matured a lot and she's been through a lot, unfortunately. But anyways, it's excellent. Read it. But I wouldn't recommend reading it first. I would say, I think I read it in like a perfect spot. But like if you're somebody who's farther into the series, read it. Like just read it whenever you get a chance. It's not boring. People were saying it was boring. No, it's not.
They also said that Throne of Glass was boring though too. So
it's not.
Like I said, I think these people are just looking for porn with plot. I think that the people that think these things are boring are reading the wrong book.
They just want romance more than right. It could be it. It could be it. Because I'm not bored.
No.
Like, I am so into it. I'm so excited to get back into it. Like I'm ready for the next one.
That's why I was like kind of on board with reading it with you, is because I miss these characters, and that was a chance for me to go back and like get to hang out with them. And
oh yeah, absolutely.
Now I'm officially done, and I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, now you gotta wait
so
forever. Sad. Yeah, it's I'm lucky. I still got like 4 books left, I think. So
and I'm excited for you because you're going to
talk about it.
Yes. And after every you're going to be like, oh, that's why they were talking about this person, or oh shit, there's that person. Like I'm excited for you to
yeah, for sure. It's such I love this series. I think I'm gonna like it a lot more than ACOTAR. I really do, because if it keeps going this way, like absolutely. I like ACOTAR, love ACOTAR. It's great. The 4th book did disappoint me a bit. We'll see how the 5th one is, but this book, nothing has disappointed. It has all been fantastic. And
if I split up ACOTAR into the first 3 books, it is better than Throne of Glass, or not better. Like it, I like it more than Throne of Glass. But if we extend it to the 4th and or what?
Oh, I guess 5th. Like
3.5 like and 4.
4, yeah.
Then no, Throne of Glass is by far best.
Yeah, 4 kind of
ruined it for me.
It is a little bit disappointing, yeah, for me.
Because I know we've said this before, but I'm going to harp on it. Because Selena is what I wanted Nesta to be. And Nesta was not. And it pisses me off.
The book was, and I'm not against, I mean, I've read smutty smut in my time, but it was very, why? Because it's not typical of her to write like that. Like, it's fine. She does it well, but it was a lot. And I'm like, there's so much going on. Like, I don't give a shit about this. Like,
tell me about the 3 things that we're supposed to get like through the treasure trove or whatever.
Thank you. Yeah, I can give a shit. Oh, they're gonna fuck again. Like, cool. Can we move on from this? Because I don't care. I want to know plot. I was into the plot. I didn't really. I mean, yeah, throw it in there, sure, but it just seemed like it was a little much, in my opinion. But
there is that argument on TikTok right now about intellectualism in TikTok or in reading, like book talk, where it's like, I just read to escape. Yeah, but like, read good books.
Well, there's nothing even wrong with that.
No, there's not. There really isn't. It's just
I've read like shit that's just like not the best, but I still was entertained. But when you start, but you read ACOTAR and you read the other ones, and they're a certain trajectory, and it's a certain path, and they're all a certain kind of way. And then you get to that book, Silver Flames, and it's like it's not even the same.
Yeah, it's not even like part of the same.
Like, what the fuck happened to Cassian? Oh, yeah, and like, why does everybody else? And I know it's like her and his like POV more than.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not getting Elaine off the hook either. Like, I think Elaine's a piece of shit too.
I think she's just boring. I'm just bored with her. Well, do something.
She was just as bad as Nesta, right? Yeah. She allowed all of the trauma and all of that to happen just as much as Nesta did. She just is quieter about it.
I think with Elaine, I like, in my head, she's the youngest. So it's I almost let her get away with it. I'm like, well, I go, oh wait, no, she's not. Better.
No.
Because to me, it's Nesta and Feyre and Elaine. Like, that's the order. But it's not, which still weirds me out. But anyways, yeah, Elaine sucks. And I sometimes give her a pass in my brain, like, oh, well.
And how the fuck did she get Lucian? God damn it.
I love him.
I love him too.
Oh my God. He's my man in that book. It's him.
It's him.
So TBR.
Yeah, I figured we could go through a little TBR challenge. What is the most recent book that you put on your TBR?
So mine is Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider.
What's that?
I don't know. It just sounded interesting.
What is it about? Do you know?
Yeah, I can bring it up. Hold on 1 second. I'll bring it up. I remember do what I tell you to do. Well, now actually I lied, because just now I added A Sorceress Comes to Call by J.P. Fisher. But it was Metal Slinger, Fire Metal, #1. So Brynn has spent the better part of her life waiting for the chance to attend the annual market hosted by the Penta, the very same people who exiled the Alaha, see all these names, to live a life over the sea. A rite of passage for all the young guards. She's not sure what to expect from it, but breaking a century-long peace treaty certainly isn't on her map. Neither is the encounter with an enemy soldier. Returning home to Alaha, I guess that's how you say it, she's confronted with the aftermath of the day's events. The future is uncertain, with the threat of hunger looms over the people. With rumors of a growing rebellion, Brynn and her closest friends promise to stick together. When an unexpected visitor arrives, Brynn's loyalty will be tested as she learns of a world of magic and treachery. Once her enemy, always her enemy, right? But the dark, knowing eyes of a stranger make her question everything, including her heart loss. So it's a romantasy, but it sounds interesting.
That's what I meant. Like, I meant, what kind of book is it?
Oh, I didn't want to read it. What's it about? I'm like, I have to read this because I didn't read it.
No, so it's like romantasy. Yeah,
it's a fantasy with magic and politics, and I like that shit. So
yeah, of course.
Sounded interesting, so I added it. What's yours?
Mine is Hollow by Brian Catling. It is a fantasy, horror, history fiction, weird fiction, which is what got me. The weird fiction.
Weird fiction. That's probably good.
Yeah. I hope so. It looks really cool. You should look at the cover. I don't have it up, but
yeah, I'll look at it.
I also lied. I added like 3 others, but at the time that I wrote this,
that was
this.
Me too.
Yeah.
That was me too. Yeah. So, what are you most excited about?
Probably The Child's Thief by Brom.
Oh,
which
I've seen
is horror.
Yeah.
If you hear Brom, you know it's horror.
Mm-hmm. I've never seen a physical copy of this in the wild.
Me neither.
Yeah. I wonder if it's like super expensive.
It probably is.
I like buying his books because the art.
Yeah, I got it on audiobook. So
okay.
We'll see how that goes.
It's worthy searching for. I like Brom his but I love buying his books just because his art is always cool. So mine is The Night and the Moth. So this comes out May 20th, so a while from now.
Oh wow!
It's going to be a series of I don't know
Rachel
how many.
Gillig.
By Rachel Gillig, and I'm excited because obviously One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns, the Shepherd King series, or duology, I should say, is by her, and that was her debut, and they were amazing. So I'm really excited for her next book. So this will be it, and it's coming out May 20th, and I will definitely be reading it. Really excited. So it's the Stonewater Kingdom #1, and the name of the book again is The Knight and the Moth. So
can I
really
change mine to that now? Added to TBR. That's the one I'm most excited about too.
Yeah. I'm super. I mean, her debut novels were freaking amazing. Oh, I got the pretty ones.
I know.
I got the special edition. You need to get it too. I got it from Barnes and Noble. I ordered it because I had to have it, and I did a little tiki-taki, and they are so freaking pretty. I'm never going to read them.
No.
From that. Those are gorgeous.
That's the point of the trophy shelf.
I know.
Is that they
I looked through it, and I'm like, okay, that's the only time these will be open.
Yep. And
they're so beautiful. They got the sprayed edges, and even in the book, like they put little like filigree on the pages. Oh, it's so pretty. It's
really?
Yes, Dang. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. So, and then one of them, it's the sprayed edges, and like the first page is red and black, and then the other one's black and red, like inverted. It's just cool how it came together. It's beautiful. So if you like those books and you want those, get them at Barnes & Noble. They're amazing.
Barnes & Noble.
Yeah. Sponsor us, please.
Please.
So yeah. Anyways, that was my most excited. So what book do you know you're going to love?
Okay. So I think I will. I don't know that I will, but Sword Heart by Teen Kingfisher. It's part of the Saint of Steel series, but kind of like an offshoot. So it's not the Paladins themselves. It's like an offshoot. So I'm hoping it's really good. She writes very well. So
I'm sure it'll be good because you liked all of those, right? All three of them. Yeah. So I'm sure. Yeah, that'll be awesome. So for me, I'm not going to pick one because I know I'm going to love them all. And of course, I'm talking about the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. So I was going to put that as most excited about. And then I saw book you're going to love. I go, you know what? I'm really freaking excited about The Knight and the Moth. So let me just switch these. So next up is Queen of Shadows. So I'm super excited to get that started on that. After I read the book I'm currently reading, which we'll get to.
I'm very excited for you.
Yeah, I can't wait. And then I can bug you about it and we'll talk about it and it'll be fun.
Yes. Okay, what book you're nervous you might not like as much as everyone else?
So mine's going to be, I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but Anathema?
Yeah. Was that the one that we were...
Yeah, we were going to make it our read with S&B, but it was like 700 pages or something like that.
Yeah, some bullshit. Yeah.
It's by Carrie Lake. I will get to it because I want to. It's supposed to be this like gothic witchy fantasy. Like, yes, I'm going to read it. But I'm worried because, and so Carrie Lake wrote Nocticadia, which was a dark romance book. And it was good. I actually really enjoyed that. I can still say that because there's some dark romances now that I've been reading more. I'm like, yeah, they weren't that great, even though I liked them. But Nocticadia is one of the ones that is actually, I really enjoyed it. And I recommend it all the time when people are like, oh, I want a dark romance. I'm like, go with this because it's really good. Like the plot, everything's great. So, yeah. So what about you?
I'm going to say The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. It's another one of those that is like the TikTok fantasy.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Even my nephew's girlfriend recommended it to me. So like, I'm sure it's fine. I'm worried because TikTok worries me with its recommendations.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I totally understand you on that. So what's a book you added on a whim?
On a whim. Okay, so mine is Tinfoil Butterfly, which is something that probably nobody has ever heard of. It's by Rachel Eve Moulton. It's about this girl that's hitchhiking across the United States, and they take her to the Badlands of South Dakota. So
you gotta read that.
Yeah, so it's horror, thriller, mystery. So yeah, that's why I added it, because South Dakota.
How is this that mine is The Butterfly Garden.
Weird.
Weird. I was like looking and like this one was kind of a random one because it's not like a big book or anything by any means. It's another kind of obscure one. So, but it was funny because they both had a butterfly in the title. So, The Butterfly Garden by Dot Hutchinson. This just seems like an odd book that I would like. There's this like really beautiful garden by this mansion, and there's like a collection of butterflies, and there's young women are brought there like they're kidnapped, and they're covered in like really interesting, intricate tattoos, and then there's this like weird gardener man that's like in charge of all of them, and it says something about preserving his lovely specimens, so it just sounds like ooh, like interesting, so and weird. So I think it's like a mystery,
thriller, horror, mystery, thriller, crime. Yeah, I had to look at. I had to look at it when you're talking about it.
So that's that one. So I don't know. I remember. I don't think I saw this one on TikTok. I think this was just like one of those like recommended ones.
Yeah,
or something or other, and I was like, I don't know. For some reason, the cover, which is not much, I was like, oh, and I just decided to read about it, and I'm like, well, I might as well give it a whirl. Why not?
Yeah,
you just add it with the 5,000 other books that.
How many do you have?
Oh my god, 140, and I got rid of a bunch. That's the sad part.
That's so funny.
Ooh. But yeah, so that's funny. They're both
140. I had to confirm. Not that I didn't believe you, but
oh yeah, a lot, too much.
A book by an author that you are trying to read more of.
I have not read Seed, and I have it, and I've had it. It's by Anya Alborn, and I want to kind of get through all of her books because there's nothing I've disliked that she's written. I've liked some more than others, but have not disliked anything. So, I've had Seed on my TPR forever, and I really just need to get to it. So,
yeah,
it would be Seed by Anya Alborn. So, what about you?
White Nights, by Fyodor Dostoevsky. Of course, I'm trying to read like classic literature, and I don't even know how to pronounce it. But I get like they say if you read The Secret History, you're going to like this author. He's a Russian novelist. He wrote Crime and Punishment. I don't know if that rings a bell to you anyway, but I don't know, just something to like get I don't know, the intellectualism back into. In between, obviously, my romance. Yeah,
between all the fun.
Yeah.
So okay, so that sounds fun.
Yeah,
interesting. It's a Russian author. See, sometimes like I haven't read a lot of foreign books, but sometimes I feel like things are lost in translation. Like that's what I have trouble with, because like when I read one book I read about the eating people, Tender is the Flesh.
Oh yeah.
I did not like that, how that was written, but it is translated. And then the other one we read was translated too, wasn't it? Or was it?
Which one? I think
I
think
with the girl who like lives in her family all lives out in the forest, and those college kids come.
Yeah, I think it was.
I remember. I think that was I don't know, but hopefully this is like a
It's a story of a young man fighting his inner restlessness, and light and tender narrative. It delves into the torment and guilt of unrequited love. Both protagonists suffer from a deep sense of alienation. So that's
okay.
Trying to get into the inner self, trying to figure out why I feel the way I do.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, sounds interesting.
It's only 82 pages, so.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's like, I mean, that doesn't mean anything though, because that one I read, A Short Stay in Hell, was so short and so profound for me.
Exactly.
So yeah. So that's crazy.
What book are you late on the trade? What?
No, you go.
What book are you late to the trend on?
It's been all over my Well, it was all over my TBR. I don't know if you've seen it, but City of Gods and Monsters. Have you heard of that one?
I have not. Looking it up.
It was all over my FYP. Did I say TBR? But
yeah,
it is
but that's fine.
It is a long.
It is 760 pages,
and that's what kept me from reading it. But it used to be all over my FYP, and it was like, it sounds so good, but again, just long. But I'm not going to take, so when I did like a quick little scrub of my TBR a few months ago, I didn't get rid of it because I do want to read it. It sounds interesting. It's book number 1. Like, I don't know much about the series, like, you know, what else there is, but it just seems really interesting. It seems fun. Vampires, werewolves, witches. I mean,
well, it looks like the second one doesn't come out until January, so.
Oh yeah,
you got time.
Yeah, I'm good. I won't finish it before the new year, but
no.
It's long, but it sounds interesting enough that I want to.
The audiobook is 25 hours long.
Yeah,
that's half of a work week.
Yeah, it is.
A little over half.
Like I said, I'm not gonna get to it probably anytime soon, but I won't take it off my TBR.
No,
because there's another one.
Forget.
Yeah. Also, another one that I saw a lot about but haven't read that I'll just bring up is War Hour. Have you heard of that one?
No.
By Lauren, I don't know how to say it. Loscig. That was another one I heard. I used to be all over my page, and now it's not. But anyways, I'm more interested in City of Gods and Monsters though, by Kayla Edwards. Monsters. By Kayla Edwards. So we'll see. So what book has been on your TBR the longest?
I filtered it. It is Juniper and Thorn by Ava Reed. It's been on there since, we'll look at it. Maybe. Since when it came out, 2022. Whoops. Nice.
Well, mine's House of Leaves, and I have had that on my. I've had that book. I have it. I own it. I have had it.
You need to read it, please.
I've had it. Yo, I've had that for like 15 years.
It's like one of those things that's just like cool to have anyway.
I've like opened it. I wanted to read it. I remember someone telling me about it. I don't know.
Yeah, like, Matt Skiba.
No, it wasn't Matt Skiba.
No.
But no, a friend told me about it in
yeah, my friend Matt Skiba.
No, I wish we were all friends. He was like, tell me about this book, and he was like, yeah, if you read it, like people say like you'll go insane. You know, there's all those like weird rumors about the book. And I'm like, oh, that sounds fun. He's like telling me how it was really hard to read, and like he was kind of telling me about like what was throughout the book, and I'm like, I need to look for that. So I found it, and I have opened it so many times and been like, no. I'm so intimidated by it, and I know it's gonna take all of my like no distractions. I read at night a lot in bed. Like, that's not a book you could do that with. So it's just gonna be a while before I can.
Hear me out.
Okay.
We change our plans. We're not gonna go to that ball. We're going to go to the Stanley Hotel, and that's the only thing you're allowed to do.
Is read that book.
Yes.
I mean, maybe it'll be creepy there too, huh?
Yeah. Oh, I've been there. It's so pretty.
Yeah. I remember you saying you and your mom went there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be fun to go there. Is there anything around there?
Denver.
Or is it just that? Oh, there's no like small town, like fun little.
Oh no, it's like an hour and a half away from Denver.
So, okay.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there's like Golden and what is that, Boulder that's in that area. Yeah.
Okay, because I'm like, I don't want to go somewhere and then there's.
Or we could go to the Ariel Hotel of the The Shining, which is in Oregon.
I'm not sure.
Either way, that's good. Yeah. That's what we're gonna do. We're going to.
Yeah, it'll end up being.
We're gonna hole up in a hotel.
Yeah.
And that's all you're gonna be able to do. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but
we have to go to coffee shops and things.
Mm-hmm.
So
I meant like what book I'm gonna read.
Oh, you can read it again.
That's true.
It's your fave, isn't it?
It's my all-time favorite book. Yes.
Yes, so you can read it again.
And then it's Akatar, which makes no sense.
No, it's fine. Fine. That's how my freaking Spotify playlist is. Don't worry about that. It's just all over the fucking place.
I know, Jeff. God, yeah. Just keeps like skipping all of your songs.
It's funny though, because like I like everything on mine, but I skip it a lot too because I have like music ADD and like
We gotta
I'll
get the
want to
feeling
listen
right.
to it. I won't want to listen to it, or I'll want to just hear it up to a certain point and then I change it. And then sometimes I get like hyper fixated on a song where as soon as it ends, I start it all over. So it's just kind of depending on my mood. But yeah, me and the boys, like we definitely don't have the same taste in all. We like some stuff the same, but not everything.
Yeah.
By any stretch of the mind. So yeah, it's funny. But anyways, so what's next?
What is your highest priority?
Oh, well.
Yeah, well, we're both reading it currently.
It's Mary, and I'm loving it so far. So good, so relatable on a
I love it
level.
so much too.
Yes. By Nat Cassidy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to tell all of these folks about it because like I don't want to spoil anything now, but by the time that we actually review it, I hope everybody has read it.
Yeah, man. It's so good. Oh, so good so far. I think I'm gonna buy it. I wish I would have. I've seen it at like Barnes and Noble 100 times.
Well, even the artwork is beautiful on the front.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize like
what it is
2 minutes in. You're like, oh, that's what this is.
Oh, nice. Pretty. Yeah. It's really good so far. It's a horror, but it's nothing too, it's not like, I mean, not too grotesque, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah.
It does give you creepies. I'm getting some of the stuff I'm getting into now gives me some creepies, which I am a fan of. So
well, the mirror situation itself is a little
yeah. Oh yeah. There's more. It's super creepy, but good. It's great. I love it so far. Everything about it. So, and I love Mary, and I love that she's written by a man, and he did a great job writing her. So
he did. I am very impressed
for that because a lot of times men write women, and you're like, but he is doing.
Let's talk about the size of their forehead. Yeah.
Yes, it's been amazing so far. So, what's a book you will probably put off?
Over the Woodward Wall, by Deborah Baker. It is a middle grade young adults book. It just sounds really cool. I just feel like I'm too old to read it. I keep wanting like children, like, hey, you should read this book. And none of the children in my life have ever been like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll try to Alexis wants a Kindle.
For Christmas.
I'll just like download random books and be like, you can't get any more until you read these, and I'll put that one on there.
Yes.
She wants
I mean, in the sense of like, don't read bullshit either, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm gonna have I told her, I'm gonna have a very, very, because like tight leash, because I'll probably, she's gonna have the subscription, obviously. So I said, you could want to read whatever you want, but I need to go over it first, and she's cool with that. She's pretty good about what she reads. So we will see. So for me, probably a good 75% of my TBR, if I'm being honest, because
there's 140 of them.
Yeah, and things always be coming up
I
haven't heard about or that are new, and I'm like, ooh, and then so my TBR, I do go to it when I'm like, I don't know what to read next, but that does not happen very often. There's always something coming out, and then I get really excited because it's brand new in my brain, and then I'm like, oh, I need to read it now. And now I'm going through Throne of Glass, and like I still want to read like Crescent City, and like that's a whole long thing too. And so yeah, I mean, my TBR,
and you do need to read Crescent City before the 5 comes out.
Yeah, exactly. So which might not come out till 2026 now. So apparently I have all the time.
Yeah.
But,
well, let's hope she does it right then.
Yeah, I hope so. There's what I want and what I am afraid is going to happen, and we'll see. But yeah, I got to read Crescent City, and it's funny because like I want to read all these so bad, and like I'm so excited to like dive into them and get it, like read through them quickly, but like I don't want to read through them quickly because I know once they're all over, I'm going to be so sad.
Yeah.
Like you.
I don't want to be like you.
Done, and I can tell you're like, it's just like, damn it. Like after you read Assassin's Blade, you're probably like, shit.
Yep.
Because it was like,
I know. I kept like, so usually when I read books, it's at like 1.5 or 1.7 speed because like, anything lower than that feels too slow.
Yeah.
B, sometimes you just want to get through that shit. But I actually put it on regular speed. I was like,
oh, that's low. Yeah, I think I have mine at like 1.3, and then the worse the book is, the faster.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So, yeah.
All right.
Good portion of my TBR is will be put off. Probably. I should start saying that. I should start saying like, if it's on my like, because I track everything through Goodreads, and I should probably say like, this has been on my TBR since blah blah blah. I think I'll do that when I review books from now on. I think that's kind of a fun little thing. Like if it was on my TBR and then how long it's been on there. I think it'd be fun because it tells you like when you added it.
It does, yeah. I think that's kind of fun too because I don't know. I really do want to get through some of my TBR because it feels daunting.
Right. It does, because you I mean, it's your TBR. You want to read them all, but there's so many. I know there's things on there that I don't even have on there.
Well, like some of them are just like, I just want to put it on there just so I don't forget about it. But chances are I'm probably not going to read it. Yes.
I didn't mention in the thing we were doing, Daughter of No Worlds is a book I really want to fucking read. And I don't know why I haven't yet. I need to read that one too.
Is that that's part of the Serpent and the whatever?
No, it's the same author, but it's not that. It's a different story. That one's like very fantasy, like barely any romance, but it's apparently like not necessary because it's so damn good. And I'm like, I need that. That's what I need. So I want to read that for sure. I don't mind romance. Don't get me wrong. Okay.
No.
I've read 3, but sometimes I feel like it. Sometimes I don't. Almond Joy has nuts, Mounds don't, you know, like I don't always want that. So, and I'm really into my like fantasy
era. Yeah.
Yes.
I hate using that word, by the way, because it's
know
it's like a Taylor Swift thing, and I don't.
It is, but it just fits.
It fits so well.
I know. Most of the new things I don't go with, but that one's and the vibe one, that's a good one.
I like that too.
The Young's like, it's a vibe. I'm like, that makes sense.
You know what? It is a vibe. You're right.
No, it's my kids say these things, and I'm just like, some of them I'm like, ugh, but we had dumb things we said, so like, I'm not even gonna. Like, my husband will be saying, like, why do they say that? I'm like, dude, we said all that in a bag of chips. Like, just let them go.
Just let them be.
Let them say their alphas and sigmas and whatever the hell. Just let them have their moment. But anyways.
Are they talking about the Omegaverse? Let's hope not.
No. Not yet. No. Balloon animals.
No.
I love seeing them in the wild. It just makes me so happy. I'm like, ooh, take a picture. Send to Becky.
I know. We need to like make a TikTok of all the video or all the photos that we've sent back and forth.
You can go to like our Facebook Messenger, and you can like filter files. We should do it.
We should.
We need to think of a song to go in the background. It'll just be a fucking slideshow.
It's got to be like animals. I don't know, like circus sound, something.
Yeah, it'll be something like that. That'd
terrible.
Cool. Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
We haven't read a cringe KU in a long time.
I know. I never even read the last one you gave me, Caked.
You fucker.
I didn't read it.
I'm just kidding. It's fine.
I mean, it's
way past your birthday now.
A little bit.
I read the one about hot dogs.
How was it?
It was about hot dogs. It was insane. Like, terrible.
We haven't done it in so long. We need to when we come back.
When we come back, yeah.
Yeah, we'll start that one up again because that was always fun.
We're gonna have to get like a curation going.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my god, so funny. KU cringe. I'm excited for it. I miss it.
Me too.
It was pretty fun. Yeah. All right, friend.
So we're both currently reading Mary, if that wasn't obvious.
Yes.
We're gonna pause on the book club announcement until January. That way we're not relegated to having to read a book over the holidays.
Yes.
Do you have anything else?
Nope. That's gonna be it. Just make sure you subscribe and leave a review. Follow us on social media. Come
specifically TikTok.
Yeah. If you're on TikTok, give us a follow because we do plan on doing a couple lives here and there when we get a chance. So we would love to see you there and chat with everybody. So yeah, I've been your co-host Stephanie,
and I'm back.
And this has been Novelty with S&B. See you in the next chapter.